Hello, everyone. It is Tuesday night, and I'm here to have a little talk with you. This is episode 1 in my series, Tattuesday Night Talks with some random people. That's actually not true. They're not random people. I will be interviewing 5 different people from Marquette University, a Jesuit institution in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, about their theological tattoos. And we're going to have some conversations, see where the evening takes us. And it's going to be a fun time, if I do say so myself. In this series, I will be discussing the theological tattoos themselves, as well as the placement and how that impacts the meaning of the tattoo, whether or not it was intentionally put there when they got it in the first place. In order to give a, not tutorial, but more of a test run as to here's how these interviews are going to work. I'm going to go through, I'm going to ask them a series of questions, we're going to have some conversations, and I'm going to learn a lot. Apparently, people have like family crests, and I didn't realize that was a thing. It's just, there are things that blow me away that people either know or do. People know like languages that I've never heard of, and they have like, it's so interesting. I can't wait for you guys to see it. But before I get ahead of myself, I want to go through an analyzation of a tattoo for you guys, in the sense that I want to give you a sneak peek at what's to come in the series and what that means. So we'll be using my own tattoo tonight. Gotta keep it on brand. So I will be using my own tattoo, though not theological or religious in any way. It is still a tattoo that has meaning, and its placement also has meaning, though not intentionally. So, tattoo we will be looking at today is this one. It is my tattoo. It is on my wrist, and as you can see, it is made up of 4-ish distinct shapes. At the top is a set of 3 circles. Those are the Mickey Mouse ears, or Mickey Mouse. Then in the middle is the upside down Deathly Hallow symbol from the Harry Potter series. At the bottom is a carrot representative of the Disney movie Zootopia. Hold. All right. And finally, it's encompassed, sort of, by a pixelated heart. That same pixelated heart can be seen on my scarf at the moment. I try to match everything, and I felt that this was only fitting. So, going into the analyzation of my said tattoo, the Mickey Mouse ears, well, actually, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Each of the images represents a quote, because I wanted many different quotes, but I also realized that I don't want that many words, because tattoos are somewhat painful. This one wasn't that bad, and from what I understand, it's one of the least painful places. But I didn't want to get a bunch of words. Especially with all the horror stories I've heard of people getting them misspelled, or them being in not the right font, or whatever the case. So I decided that I was going to have a bunch of symbols. I would put them all together, and that would be my quotes. For the Mickey Mouse ears at the top here, we have, if you can dream it, you can do it. Then, for the Harry Potter symbol, though it is not always like I originally wanted, it is actually, in the recent days, months, weeks, whatever you want to call it, in recent times, it has come to mean... it does not do well to dwell on dreams and forget to live. And then for the carrot, really, most days it means try everything, because I'm a sucker for that movie. Man, I'm having so much fun. But in keeping with the dream theme, there is a line at the beginning of the movie that, though is only input for humor, it's actually something that stuck with me, and that is the main character Judy's parents are discussing her dreams, and her dad says, it's good to have dreams, but just as long as you don't believe in them too much. Which, again, I think with the other ones, they all kind of tie together to form this idea of you need to have dreams, but you also need to go forth and do. Which, again, tying into the video game heart, is very symbolic of the fact that in video games there's not a lot of thinking. It's all action. It's doing. You play the game, you live life, you keep going. It is also a heart. Heart you, heart me. I heart myself, and I like to know that I do indeed like myself. So, that being said, the entire tattoo is very symbolic and textually driven, and it has meaning to myself. However, when placed in the context of my wrist, this is a place on the body that is very vulnerable. It's heavy with emotion. When you think about emotional health and thoughts of self-harm, the wrist is one of the first places that you think of. It is very emotionally driven. It's a pulse point which leads straight to your heart. It's very connected to your emotions, which I think, considering that all of these things are from my childhood in a sense, that makes a lot of sense. So going through, it's very interesting to see how that works and how my tattoo, though not originally planned as a point in which I wanted it to show my emotions, is a place that it still does, regardless of whether or not that was its original intent, which I think is very intriguing. And there are a few people that I will have some interviews with where they're blown away by the meaning that is created that they didn't realize was there in the first place, which is just very exciting to see. Some other things to look forward to in this series. Talk about family crests. I didn't know family crests existed. Like, I'm shook. And it's, I'm so, and then just the ideas of things that people have tattooed and gotten tattoos of. Like, there are some things that I've seen in these interviews, and I'm thinking, wow, this is an amazing piece of art. Like, I'm so glad that you shared this with me, and it's just such an incredible experience to get to talk with so many different types of people with different opinions and values, and just seeing how all of that comes together. None of them really have no, that's not true. They do have things in common. So all but one of these interviews take place in the theology department specifically. Because I'm discussing theological tattoos, that just seems like a very good place to go for the tattoos themselves in determining what they are, what they mean. I feel like that's the best place to find a set of theological tattoos if I were to find them. So that's where I looked, that's where I interviewed, and I'm very excited with the final product that I received. It's going to be very exciting, and I hope you tune in next Tuesday night when I have my first interview with Patrick Conlin. He is a graduate student here at Marquette, and I am very excited to see where it takes us. Until next Tuesday.